Grant, I think you went to watch Coventry last night, Sheffield United. How did they play? What did you make of them?
Well, we've seen a lot of them. To be fair, they were on the TV and the Johnson's Paint final. We've watched their game against Bristol Rovers with the team. They were on a good run. They've won 2, but they've also lost 4 of their last 6. So in the league, but we need to make sure we go there and just concentrate ourselves again. We've said this for the past 2 or 3 games. We're 2 down in the little mini season. We want to make it. We've won 2 of them. We want to try and go to Coventry and win again on Saturday. It's going to be difficult. They're still fighting for their lives. They've still got mathematically possible chance to get out of it. But we want to make sure that we go and stamp the game on them. Make sure that it's all about us on the day, and we want to finish the season strongly.
Yeah, and they've had so many off-field problems, haven't they, this season? I know there've been regular protests at their home matches and a lot of discontent among the supporters. You just have to ignore that, block that out, and get on with your own game.
Coventry's problems are nothing to do with ours, really. We have to worry about ourselves first and foremost. I'm pleased that I've got a fully fit squad, apart from Guion and Jermaine, to pick from, which is good at this stage of the season. So there's a lot of competition, but one thing I do know is the team that's played the last 2 games, 95% of them have done well and deserve to keep their place in the team. So I'll look at that for the rest of the day and tomorrow and decide which team is best to go to Coventry and win.
So the injuries are clearing up, which is obviously good news. Should we go through them? How is everyone? What stage are they at? The likes of Taylor, Taffazoni?
Taylor's fine. Taylor's had I give Taylor's a couple of days rest, really. Just away from the building, just to get him. He's just a little bit fatigued and tired, probably in terms of it's been his first full season in 3 or 4 years, so he's probably just a little bit fatigued in his hamstring, but he's fine. Trained well today. Taff has trained Tuesday and he's trained today again and come through both sessions really well. So we expect him to be involved. And Craig McHale-Smith had a little breather as well. I'll give him a little breather during the week, so he's come back in really refreshed today, and he came back in yesterday, and it looks good to go as well.
Has Craig been let off late night baby duty this week? He said he was a bit tired after getting up in the night.
Yeah, well, Amber texted me saying that she's took note, to be fair. So he's he looks refreshed. He looks like he's bubbly again. Again, trained really well today. So when he's on form, he definitely comes into your thinking.
He's had a contract with Luton at the end of the season, of course. In an ideal world, would you want him here next season? Junior Moraes was saying this week what a great influence he's been around the place. So on top of his ability on the pitch, he adds plenty off it as well. He
does. He's been brilliant since he's come back. We'd want him to get some more goals, and I'm sure Craig would have said that himself. But he's been great around the place. He's been helping Tom. He's been helping Junior. He's been helping some of the younger ones, Morgan Penfold, in the youth team, who's been training with us on a regular basis. So like I say, there's a conversation going to be had, next week when the chairman's over, regarding everyone really. Whether they're in contract or out of contract, we want to make sure we sit around a table, put our heads together, and get a squad that's going to be, really, really strong next season. That's the aim. And the people who will come in the conversation will be the ones who contracts are, expiring. Craig's not our player, so I can't really say I want them or not because he's Luton's player. And the ones who contracts are expiring, the likes of Mark Tyler, Harry Anderson, Dion Curtis-Henry, Callum Chettle. There's quite a few, to be fair. So we need to sit down and work that out. Also the lads who are going into their last year as well, because I don't want to be getting to this stage where I've got players who are in the team but also on the transfer list. So we need to make sure we approach that right.
Yeah, this rule has sort of been applied for the last few seasons, hasn't it? When a player is coming towards the end of his contract, if he hasn't agreed a new one, he's transfer listed. I think Maddison and Bostwick are 2 players that fit into that category. Would they be, judging by this season and previous seasons, would they be a real priority for you, because they've been absolute key men, haven't they?
Of course, they've been massive for us all season, the both of them. So I'm sure we'll sit down with them over the remaining 4 or 5 weeks and try and get some new deals for them, ideally. But they've been stalwarts in the team. They've played the majority of the games and they've performed at a high level this season, the both of them. So definitely 2 priorities in terms of their contracts coming to an end. A year left. So they're conversations I need to have with the chairman and Barry next week.
Because I guess speculation helps no one, does it? If you have these one's drifting on and on throughout the summer. Is he staying? Is he going? All the rest of it doesn't help you, probably the player or the club as a whole. So important to try and get them tied up as soon as you can, I guess.
It is, yeah, definitely. It's definitely, you don't want players thinking, well, I've got a year left, and they're worrying about their contract and things like that. But sometimes it does drive you, knowing that you've got a year left at the club, and your performances need to go up, an extra level. But like you mentioned, Madison, Bostwick, they're two that we need to sit down and think about very, very carefully which way we go with both of them. But if it was my decision, I'd keep the both of them there. But it's important that myself, Barry, and the chairman all agree on the decisions, and I'm sure they would in those two.
Quite an important week then when he comes over, the chairman. I guess you lay out all your plans, do you, for the next 12, 18 months or so? It's all about planning and getting everything in place.
It's going to be really, really important. We'll have a good chat next week, but we need to make sure we recruit right, we get the right players in, we get the players who we don't feel is going to have a part to play next year out, which is never easy if players are in contract or not. So it's I've said it all along. Probably for the last 8 or 9 weeks, people are playing for their lives and their futures now. And to be fair to the boys, they've picked it up over the past 2 or 3 weeks. They've really, really dug in deep. As you've seen in the past 4 performances, really, where we've drew 2 and won 2. So we need to make sure everything. There's a lot of things to sort out next week in terms of recruitment, who stays, who goes, pre-season planning and things like that. So it's a lot of stuff to sort out, but I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it all.
Just going back to Coventry, are you due a change of luck or a result, do you feel, at the Ricoh? Because I remember the last couple of visits you've had a commanding lead and it's turned around and you've ended up losing the match, having played some really good stuff. Do you feel you're due a result?
No, it doesn't interest me, to be honest. Well, what happened last year or the year before is nothing to do with me. It's, yes, we've had a couple of bad results at Coventry over the years, but it's a completely different season. We'll go there in good spirits. We've won the last 2. We've kept a clean sheet in both games. We've looked really, really threatening going forward again, and we look defensively strong. Credit to the back 4 and Luke and Anthony Grant in front of them. We've looked really, really defensively strong, and we look a threat going forward as well. So whatever's happened to Coventry the last year or 2 years it doesn't interest me. I'm only interested in this week's game, this game on Saturday against them. Like I say to you, we know. We've seen them, we've watched them, but it's all about us.
And you must be delighted with that solid base at the back that you've talked about. A couple of clean sheets on the bounce, and again being very tough to beat. But as you say, carrying a threat the other way, which is obviously the balance you want to strike.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely on Saturday, I thought for the first half it was an even Steven game really. I thought when we changed it and brought Martin on and went to like a box and got them 2 playing off the sides of Crofts, I think it helped us massively. And we scored, straight after the substitution. So we need to make sure we get the balance right in terms of the team and the squad for Saturday, because we have got a lot of players coming back from injury, and it looks strong again. The squad's looking strong, and the training today was fierce in terms of the competition. And we need to make sure we go there with in good spirits like we have been all week again. Training's been excellent all week, and we'll go there in good spirits and hopefully get another result.
And you showed your versatility, didn't you, formation-wise at the weekend, as you say, changed it and it had a positive impact. A decision to make this weekend, and in terms of how you set up to start with?
Well, I've always said, formations don't win you games, the players do. That's the thing. We need to make sure we go there with hopefully 90% of the team playing to their maximum, because if we do that, then we'll win. That's the most important thing. There's decisions to make on the team for sure, but it won't be drastic changes, because I've been pleased with what I've seen over the last 4 games.
And you mentioned Mark Tyler earlier. Obviously he was 40 on Sunday, wasn't he? He's coming to the end of his contract. Has he expressed a desire to carry on in a playing capacity? I know he's on the coaching side at the moment, but does he still have the appetite to be playing matches as well?
Tyler's would play till he's 50. I'm not joking, he would. But listen, Mark's one of the ones we need to speak about, for next year as well in terms of his playing capacity. But there's been really no conversations with any of the players in terms of the out of contract ones or the ones in their year. Last year, if there was, I would tell you there's not. We want to make sure we finish the season strongly. The chairman will be over next week. We'll decide on who we want to keep and who we want you know, try and get away from the club to get some games, or the loan players coming back and what we're going to do with them, etc. But the players won't be told until the season's over. That's the thing, you know. They'll be back in when the season's over, and their futures will be decided then, because I want everyone to concentrate on these next 5 games. That's it. Not what's going to happen next year or the year after that. All that stuff can be kept in house with myself, Barry and the chairman. The players only have to worry about the football games and winning football games.